Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dvorkin, and I'm a managing partner at 4D Capital. We're going to be looking at Bank of America update. Today, Bank of America is one of our 52 mega cap stocks that we update twice a year, and I think you're going to find this update rather interesting because Bank of America is about to put in a major top. Okay, so just a very quick introduction. My name is Alex Dvorkin. Once again, I'm managing partner at 4D Capital. We specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we analyze the market and individual stocks in multidimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order emerges. On top of that, we've developed a number of very powerful timing indicators. And when we combine both of those factors together, we can very often tell exactly what the overall stock market or individual stocks will do going forward in both time and price. I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies, if you're familiar with Jim. So our primary objective as a firm is to identify stocks that will 2x, 5x, 10x, and do so within a relatively short period of time. So in essence, we're looking for the next NVIDIA, Apple, Bitcoin, Tesla, Microsoft, and so forth. And we have a special weapon that gives us the ability to identify such stocks. And that's our software that has been developed on top of our mathematical multidimensional approach to the stock market. And what we can do, and what I will show you today with Bank of America, for example, is that we can identify very important bottoms. We're interested in bottoms. We're not interested with the short side. We can identify very important bottoms for most stocks, and then from those bottoms, our software is able to project exactly how far and how long it will take for the stock to appreciate going forward. And from those opportunities, for example, we can scan the entire S&P 500. We can pick out only the best ones, meaning only the stocks that will appreciate significantly within the shortest period of time. So, with that in mind, let's look at the Bank of America. Let's look at Bank of America and see what it's doing. So it's been following our forecast more or less perfectly, and what you see here on the chart might be a little bit confusing, particularly for those who are not familiar with our work. So I'm going to explain very briefly. If you're familiar with our work and you know what I'm going to talk about, please fast forward maybe 3 to 4 minutes, and you're going to be in the midst of this Bank of America analysis. So what you see here on the bottom and the top of the chart, which are these triangles, we call them cycle composites. And this is a very simplistic representation of a very complex mathematical concept where we scan the chart back, we identify these composites, and then we project them into the future. And obviously the bottom composites, as you can see, is responsible for putting in bottoms, and the top composites are responsible for putting in tops. Now these are long-term. We can continue to narrow them down and break them down even more into intraday charts. But this is for long-term purposes, right? What makes this matter even more complicated, there are typically multiple composites running in the market at any given time. So I use Dow Jones as an example always, and Dow Jones, for example, has 2 lower composites and 2 upper composites running at the same time. But if you know how to, and if you can put them together, you can essentially replicate this, what you see on the 2-dimensional time and price chart, which is the actual time and price movement of the stock. You can come very, very close to what's actually going on with the stock. Okay, so these composites get us into the neighborhood of the actual top. I typically say, depending on the length of the cycle, plus or minus 2 months. What I'm going to show you next is called cycle clusters. Let me click on this. Okay, so these are the lines. So these get us into the neighborhood, and cycle clusters give us the exact date of an upcoming turning point. Okay, that's how we know the timing. And if we continue to narrow down to shorter and shorter cycles and more on a daily, intraday basis, we can actually pinpoint to the day and sometime to the hour and to the point where those tops and bottoms will occur in the stock. So if I click on this line, you will see that, for example, in December it has 6. Oh, okay. Before I get there, so these lines are also a very simplistic representation of a very complex mathematical concept. So what we do is we also scan the chart back in multidimensional space, but this time around it's a little bit different because we're using our own proprietary cycles that we've developed over the years, and then we project them into the future. And here's what we found. We found that stocks or the overall market put in major tops or bottoms or shorter term ones. not when any particular cycle hits, but when there's a multitude of cycles hitting at the same time. So that's why we call them cycle clusters. So the more cycles, the more powerful they are, the higher the probability there's going to be an important turning point there. Once again, I will use Dow Jones. Dow Jones, March 6th, 2009, there were 15 longer term cycles arriving at that time. And if anybody follows this kind of work, they would very clearly indicate, or they would very clearly understand that because the stock market is selling off into a major bottom, and this major bottom is marked by 15 very powerful cycles, then it indicates there's going to be a very important turning point there. And of course there was a major bottom for the market. Okay. So this get us into the neighborhood, and this gives us the exact time and price turning point. So if we look at for example, there's 9 cycles in January, there's 6 cycles in December, and 2 cycles in November. So this particular major cycle top for the cycle composites is very important for us. It indicates that the Bank of America, so let me remove these lines. It indicates that the Bank of America is moving into this point, a very important top. And once that top is put in place, Bank of America will decline into this mid-cycle bottom, which is scheduled for sometime in 2027, let's say middle of 2027. So the question becomes, where is the top exactly, and where is the bottom? And I'll answer that in a second. But basically, you see this green point here. It is located at approximately, I'm not sure if you can see behind my camera window here. Let me move it down. So it is located at exactly $57.40. That's our three-dimensional calculations showing that this is going to be an important juncture or thereabout approximately, where the stock will likely top out. Okay. Now, if we go to this particular chart, this is yet another three-dimensional representation of our calculations. So it doesn't make any sense to you. I very well understand that, but it makes perfect sense to us. What these green regions are telling us is that Bank of America will top at around this area. So we made the projection line right there. And once that top is put in place, once again, between now, December, and possibly January, then the Bank of America stock, what I was gonna mention actually is we have the exact projections, but we're not releasing them in this free forum. We do have a 30-day free trial associated with our service, so if you would be interested in exact time and price targets, I would encourage you to request a free trial, link in the description of this video. So anyway, going on, once this top is put in place, once again, the stock will decline. And I'll show you something very cool about this particular forecasting that we can do. So if you click on this region, it is also within that, remember I mentioned 57.40, so it is within that threshold of approximately, let's say $58 plus or minus $2 is where the top is going to be. Okay, that's fairly accurate assessment. But let me show you something very, very cool. Okay, so this is for the top projection. But we can, this is the power of software, okay? And we can scan the market once again, and we can identify the stocks that will have major turning points automatically. And then we can make projections into the future of where they're going to be. So if we select the projected top, it's going to tell us how far it's going to decline, okay? So all of these green regions are real possibilities of where the stock's going to decline. Now, I know, once again, doesn't make much sense to you, but we know that these initial green regions will be broken below, and the stock will probably most likely terminate around this region, which is at $34, $36. And if it breaks below that one, then it shifts to the next one, which is approximately $30 a share. So we anticipate a pretty good decline from approximately $60 a share for Bank of America, with the top approaching very, very soon, to approximately $30 a share by early 2027, and at that time a major bottom for the stock is going to be put in place, and it's going to be ready for the next rally. So that's the overall forecast for Bank of America. Hopefully you find it useful. Once again, we have a free trial with actual time and price targets available. If you would be interested, please click on the link in the description of the video. We're not going to have free trial for much longer. We're changing our structure a little bit. So if you would be interested, I do encourage you to request it. We just have a wealth of information, not only in terms of the overall stock market, mega cap stocks, fast movers, super equities, and trading parameters associated with it, but a lot of other stuff. So it might be very, very helpful. We also have a webinar coming up next Friday, November 14th, I believe, at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk about the overall stock market. We showcase our software, and we show people how we calculate the market in multi-dimensional space. So if you're a market participant, I believe you're going to find it quite useful and quite interesting. Finally, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll be back with another analysis tomorrow. Bye-bye.